It's all right.
Shoes.
Here's somebody behind us.
Okay. They're rolling.
All right. We rolling? Okay. Okay. I will now call to order this continued meeting of Town Council. We will jump right into the agenda, and we're going to be moving around to try to accommodate those who are outside. But we first have a visitor with us tonight. We're going to hear from the town manager on our referendum questions that this council has to approve by the third Monday, which will be June 15th, if it's going to get a letter to Judge Sella by July 1st. And Tessie had written the town manager and myself tonight with some suggested questions. Mr. Town Manager, if you'd like to take it away.
Let me take this thing off.
That's fine.
Get it
Yeah,
off for
that's
10 seconds so everybody can understand what I'm saying.
Getting discombobulated myself here.
Memorandum from two members of council. It is in your packet, Jennifer. The annual circle packet. Get us up before we make it halfway through. It should be in this state that we can expect. Is there something under there?
What's the title of the page?
We're looking at the referendum, the correspondence from Tessie,
Got it.
reference the questions.
Memorandum. Oh, I forgot my glasses.
Yes.
If everybody wants to take a minute to read the thing, and then we can get started. But I think Tessie does have some ideas, and if y'all want to take a minute to read all that.
Sure, and as y'all are reading over it, just for the benefit of the audience that might be tuning in or watching this on recording, at my request, she has, and at the town manager's request, she has submitted some proposed questions, because the town manager figured it's better to maybe originate from the attorney than have all of us, because all of us, we could all write our own referendum ballot and think it's the world's best, and our colleague would say, no, tweak it. So we got to agree on something. What Tessie basically has said in this correspondence is two things. It must be a yes or no question, which we've all known for the past year, and it can't be more than 500 words, because we've had some people, in fact, someone out there right now outside had suggested they wanted to have a lot of information in the question, and y'all all know that the longer a question is, it's a turnoff. But one thing she says that I will tell you from my dealings with Judge Sella, he's going to look at the legislation that the General Assembly passed, and the questions have got to pretty much be tight with that. And the legislation's in here. Should the town of Blackstone spend taxpayer dollars on the armory? Should the town of Blackstone spend taxpayer dollars building a community center? We get into the prices and how we're going to borrow money and how we might get grants. Judge Sella, I'm telling y'all, because I've had some correspondence with him, and I was slapped on the wrist because I really wasn't supposed to. I reached out to him. He's going to spit it out, and we'll miss the November 3rd ballot. And I think everybody in here wants to know what the people of Blackstone think. And the best chance is going to be November 3rd, because you're going to have about 75% voter turnout. If you have it any other date, just like when we all got elected in 2018, voter turnout was 30%. So Tessie has got some proposed questions. And
My suggestions
Yes.
are very brief. I think if we're not going to put in dollar figures, you can do a pamphlet. You can give out, hand out detailed information of how you pay for grants that may be available, all that sort of thing. But I think it should be 3 questions. I think it breaks down. And what I like is, should the town of Blackstone renovate the Harris Memorial Armory into a multi-use community center? Okay. Should the town of Blackstone construct a recreation center? Stop. And then question number 3, should the town of Blackstone construct a swimming pool? And I think that would be 3 questions to put on there. If we can put those on there, and I'm not sure.
Don't think so.
There's enough detail for the aquatics on there.
well, the thing I'm concerned about is that we got a charter change for 2 questions. And I think what you do is in the literature, you explain that the recreation center is the one with the pool. I think everybody in Blackstone that's had a heartbeat for the last 10 years will tell you they know what their armory is. It's a multi-use community center. I think if you throw 3 questions, my personal opinion is you throw 3 questions to Judge Sella, he's going to go, this is not the legislation that the General Assembly changed the charter. That's my opinion. Yes, Mr. Miller.
I have a question. Okay.
Go right.
You're saying, okay, should the town of Blackstone demolish 2 school buildings on Harris Street and build a new recreation center with indoor aquatic center at an estimated construction price of $7 million?
Well, yeah, I said that at one time, but I'll be honest with you, after talking to Tessie, that question is too much information.
Right, and it's,
Yeah.
in other words, I mean, I think, it was brought up, this here swimming pool doesn't have to come into play now.
They would pull out. What's trying?
That's what I'm saying, that's who said
Make it
this
simple.
pool and all this aquatic stuff has got to come in this pool?
There's been one person who's come to the podium for 3 years now who stressed the swimming pool. I mean, that's just, I mean, you asked a question, I'm giving you the answer.
Okay, but I'm saying, but we also said that no one person controls this project.
Nor does any one mayor or any one council member.
So
But haven't we
what I'm
already
saying-
requested,
Huh?
haven't we already requested the pool issue in the charter change?
No, it just says community center. The legislation does not mention pool. The key is going to be, I think, for y'all to keep it simple, is to get into the weeds on the literature. And the Army supporters and the Army opponents can wage the big campaign of our lives. But I think for this council and Judge Sella, you've got to pose the questions. Armory, which everybody, 20 years that's been going on, knew you can call it recreation center or community center. That'll be up to this council. The details come out in the literature, come out in the campaign.
Literature coming out of the town of Blackstone?
Yes, comes out of this council. And it's going to be crafted objectively, and y'all all get to vote on it.
Well, if that's the case, then the last set of questions, which is verbatim from the referendum, or from the legislation. Should the town use town funds to construct, repair, remodel, and improve the Harris Memorial Armory? Should the town use town funds to construct, repair, remodel, and improve the community center?
If we're not worried about the swimming pool, then
The swimming pool kills both of them.
That's right.
You got Fort Lee that just got rid of that pool because of lack of funding. This is gonna be a private entity, you know? You just need to get rid of it. You can kill it if you put poles in it.
if that's the only two issues, then you're right. Then the last, should the town use
That's right. The
funds
man's
to
too
improve the
sick.
armory or
But
build
that
one?
one individual, he was representing other people for that pool.
He did present a petition signed by a lot of people opposing the renovation of the armory. Now, I've not seen a petition before this council that we want a swimming pool. I have not seen that.
But to be honest, question number 2 leaves it open as,
As to what you can do with this.
And remember, folks, this is an advisory referendum. Now, we all kind of know that it'd be deceptive to go against the advisory referendum, but you still can. If the people of Blackstone say, we want a $30 million sports complex, I would think everybody in this room would say we can't afford that. There's some things that people may say and go vote that you just sometimes you have to be, we're a republic, not a democracy, and you have to say, no.
the only thing I'd like to see, if anything different on question 1 and 2 for the last group, is if we did go with that. And to also include maintenance, yearly maintenance and staff.
That's in the literature. I think that goes in your literature, and that's for the armory as well.
Yeah, both of them, correct.
And I will say this for the armory, not to play favorites, because I'll be accused of this, but this council did hear last September a very specific financing plan on the armory.
Correct.
So that part's kind of been done. And interest rates, guess what, folks, have only gone down since September, amazingly. All this is good food for thought. I think there's lots to do homework on between now and the third Monday. I invited Angela Stewart here at y'all's request, because Angela, we wanted to hear from you specifically. I had misinformed this council and said we could not do a referendum, a town referendum in conjunction with the county election.
Everybody.
What do you reckon, if a May election normally costs us 10 grand, what do you reckon it would cost to throw the referendum in and piggyback with the county?
That's gonna be a special election, you'd have to pay for every officer, everything.
But I'm saying if we do it in November while you're having your normal election, what would the savings be roughly?
$5,000.
No, it's not that much.
Okay.
So you're talking about small costs,
Right, small.
because we don't have to staff the
You
voting
don't,
polls.
right.
So, for example, I will go vote in November.
This is on there too.
When the Trump Biden on November 3rd and everything else in the question, I will go over there to the back of the police station. And I believe that, for example, Sheila, you will go vote at Blackstone primary for the Trump Biden and all that. But when we both go there and we're identified as a resident of Blackstone and on the rolls, they say, oh, you get here's the Blackstone machine over here. Okay. So Blackstone
Your
residents.
ballot will represent, you'll be marked on the
Yes.
ballot book and you'll be given the right ballot at your regular precinct.
But if someone who comes in just outside of town that also votes with me at the back of the police station,
They only get,
they're only voting for Biden and Trump or Warner and whoever and maybe Lynn Shackleton. But you can,
if they're in District 5.
okay, so y'all heard that. We can do it in conjunction on November 3rd.
And with a great cost.
A lot
savings.
cheaper.
A lot
A
cheaper.
lot cheaper. Burkeville does the same thing, but they're having their town election in November.
That's right, they moved it, which means in the future, which is something I'd always thought we could not do.
Y'all can move to November also.
That's something to think about down the road. Let's get through this Armory Fest first.
You know, the whole county.
So that's something we can think about down the road. And of course, this council will be drawing new district wards next summer after we get the census results. So I think we covered the referendum well. This council will have to decide on which questions. So someone can come here on the third Monday in June and make a motion. But I don't think we can't vote on that time.
Going in November, it's got to be complete 81 days before the November election, which is August 14th.
So we want to get on Judge Sellers' desk in July.
Completely done. You send it, your attorney writes it up, submits it to the judge. The judge writes the order, he sends it to me, I send it to the Department of Elections. Then I handle everything with that after that.
So the sooner, Judge
The
Seller,
ballots are printed and everything, you're ready to go.
and Judge Seller did tell me one thing about, we had a Facebook conversation. He said, he won't talk about anything to do with this until July 1st. So it's my wish that this council adopt something either on the third Monday, or if we have a meeting in the end of June to adopt it, to formally adopt a budget, then we make sure on July 1st when the sun comes up, Judge Seller has a letter from the town of Blackstone.
Right, and make sure everything's complete by the August 14th.
I think personally, we should
You
vote
want that?
next
I
month,
highlighted
or
it.
this month,
At the council,
at the council.
I don't disagree with
Just
that.
be done with it. We don't have to wait until
So
right
you
before.
don't get-
Just go ahead and do it.
All right?
so do you prolong it?
All right.
Do we need to make a motion on that?
No, we just come prepared to make a motion or vote on a motion on the third month, June 15th, our next regular meeting. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you so much. And you were right, it's 2 questions for Blackstone.
Right. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, Mr. Town Manager, I'd like to go ahead and tackle this outdoor dining, because we got some people outside. I think I heard Lee, and we'll just do that quick. I know, I don't want to keep you here too long. I had this mask, and now I'm doing what everybody says don't do on the mask. It started to slip.
It's good to hear. I mean, it sounds like maybe it costs us only a few $100s. Technically, it's just to print the ballot.
Really, yeah, it's only the cost of the printing ballot.
So instead of people thinking $3,000 or $4,000.
But the beautiful thing, I think, for y'all and me, is we've always wanted to know, what do the people want and think? We're going to get the highest voter turnout we've been allowed to have. Come on in and spread out if you can. If you got a mask, yeah, that's great. Thank y'all. We want to try to accommodate those of you who have come in on the restaurant situation. And we're now going to discuss possible outdoor dining expansion for our downtown restaurants. And just to set the issue up quickly, I was tagged on Facebook by a great resident, Deborah Alder, who had seen what the city of Hopewell had done about closing one of their streets. I called Virginia ABC. I talked to Gordon Lee, and there were some questions about could ABC approve it. Agent Ashley Spinner loves the idea. All we have to do is, if we decide to allow outdoor dining on the sidewalks and the streets, she wants a letter from the town, which I can write in a heartbeat. And she has said that the individual restaurants with existing ABC licenses would need to send her just a little sketch, And I told her, I said, look, basically imagine a picture of going down the sidewalks. And from that idea also came up a situation where we thought about closing Main Street on either or all of the above on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday from like 5 to 9:30 or 5 to 10. Obviously, it looks like this Friday night it's going to be raining. So we've got time to do this, announce it. And just to let you also know, for some of y'all that have been here a while, closing Main Street, while I love it, I'm not in retail. So I talked to one retail person in particular who's been very concerned about closing Main Street in the past. The retail folks do not mind if it's a Thursday or Friday or Saturday evening. As far as doing in breakfast and lunch, in addition to the logistical nightmare and demand on police, it might hurt their retail business. And when I say close Main, I don't mean close the side streets. I mean, for example, if I wanted to go to the Herb Cottage or the Corner Kitchen, I could pull in on West Broad and park beside Watkins and just cross the street. You still have the side streets, but so I want to bring that to council's attention because our restaurants are getting hit harder than anybody. There ain't no doubt about it. So, Philip, what do you want to add? You and I discussed this a little bit. You've talked to some merchants.
I've talked to a few of the merchants, and the one thing that was universal to the folks that I did speak to was using the sidewalks is really pretty easy. I don't think that causes us a lot of issue. I don't think it causes many of the merchants issue. In fact, Candy and I spoke by email a few days ago, and I gave a verbal that they could use the sidewalks. Just let people still be able to walk through. There's some ABC stuff I think that you've got to get straight with the folks. But I think ABC has released or loosened maybe some of the protocols that they require for outdoor seating, if you remember. They'd be so far apart and all that.
Right.
I would start with sidewalks and then maybe come back on the 15th of June and talk about maybe a Main Street. If it turns out that we get a big enough draw that we need to do Main Street, I'm a little leery on Main Street simply because it's Main Street. Obviously, Elm Street is easier, but maybe it's not as convenient,
Right.
all those kinds of things. I would start with the sidewalks and see how it goes and see if there's a big demand for it. And
How many restaurants are?
6.
Well, no, how many have expressed interest?
I've talked to Candy Early, Gordon Lee, Josh Johnson. That's 3. I've not talked to the Classic Grill.
I spoke to Acapulco's and I've spoken to farmers.
I mean, I'd say if more than just 1 or 2 are for it, I'm all.
If you've got traffic running up and down the street, I don't want food debris, I don't want road debris in my customer's food.
Neither do I.
And I personally would not go to a restaurant that is just on a sidewalk by a street, so I wouldn't ask my customers to do it.
Zach Whitlow sent me some pictures that I put on Facebook where they had closed off some parking spaces and let people sit in the parking spaces, but traffic's going right by within arm's reach. I don't like that, especially something you got to think about in Blackstone. We're not just Main Street, we are Route 40 and Business 460.
Tractor trailers,
And
log
the
trucks.
other thing, it wasn't 3 months ago where that gentleman lost control and ran up on the sidewalk with his car.
Great, I was there and forgot about that.
I wouldn't eat there, I'm not gonna open to serve people there.
All right. What I like, I don't mind telling you, just to give, I think what Philip was talking about, the sidewalks are good on lunches and that sort of thing. I would like to see us declare a restaurant, whatever you want to call it, and shoot for, a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, back consecutive nights where the street's closed from between Church and Dinwiddie from 5 to 9:30. Now, of course, we can have the world's best promotional plans, and then it's 95 degrees and humid or thunderstorming. But I'll be honest with you, at the end of the day, I want to be able to say Blackstone tried to help the industry, the segment of the economy that we brag about, that we take money from. And it's not just that. If this was a bunch of grocery stores downtown, these folks are fighting for survival. And we can get specific. Maybe the 3rd Monday in June. It sounds far away, but maybe that'll give everybody time to plan. I talked to Gordon and Candy. Order things we take for granted. These folks have to order food. Have to some folks are have unplugged freezers to avoid the high utility bill. So, any other Candy? You reached out to me today. Anything you care to say?
I'd like to see it sooner, obviously, but just because, I think it would be more of an adventure. I think that customers would enjoy it because they're all dying to go sit down and eat and not have to take it out.
They wanna
and
get
go
waited on.
home and- Yeah, they want to get
I
waited on.
I think anything other than rain, you'll find Main Street, every table you put in Main Street will be full.
Well, he-
Not only that, you're gonna wind up on every news channel, and you're gonna be able to publicize Blackstone.
We love that, Nathaniel.
How long would it take you all to get ready?
Tomorrow.
That's the question.
Like
To be ready to say that, hey, we ready.
Like I
ready.
told Billy, if y'all make it, because we use a lot of homemade sauces and stuff like that.
I gotta make sure I can get enough guys to volunteer to work.
We got to have enough cones for every intersection. You got to have a cone and a sign.
Pay guys to put it up, I gotta pay guys to take them down, I gotta pay guys to staff them. So I gotta make sure I can get guys who are willing to go Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Would cones and signs not suffice? Would you have to have men at every intersection? Could we not just do cones?
Not every intersection. I think you need to just put them up at Church and put them down here down at Church and then up at Dinwiddie.
Does council want to make a motion
I don't know is the request for all 3 nights? What is the busiest night? What would be the best night?
Friday's a big night.
They're probably pretty much equal to you.
But
Cause Sunday's not gonna,
Sunday you don't.
Especially now the churches aren't in.
Yeah, Sundays.
Sunday lunch crowds, nothing.
Here's my thing, just one night, it's not worth me ordering a truck or doing a day and a half prep time. I mean, I gotta have something that's gonna make it worth me opening the doors.
What, Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays will be good?
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday would give me 3 good solid nights and would allow me to go back to takeout and delivery, because our menu's not really takeout friendly. We're not a takeout restaurant, we're more of a sit-down, fine dining type of thing, so takeout doesn't work for me.
How can we, I'm all for all of it, 3 nights, whatever. Can it be that there and, I mean, I don't know, can,
We need to put the barricades.
I think you will need maybe about two
So
or
how many
three
people
people.
would you think you need, Phil?
Huh?
How many
I
people
would
do
say
you
about
think you need?
three.
We gotta get 2 guys, 3 guys to put the stuff out, 2, 3 guys to take it down. 3 times, and I just gotta get the cops. I just gotta make sure I've got enough cops.
What Chief Kuzma at?
And DDI can man the barricade.
Yeah.
why does someone have to man them? I mean, do we not have enough common sense that we see
I'm
a
not sure
detour?
everybody does.
I mean, they're sitting here.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No, I know, I'm sure there'll be some that'll try to go around it, but
I would think
You're
that
gonna have, now what, if you have church blocked off, you're gonna have the hotel Wedgewood's gonna be blocked off for their guests coming in.
That's a great point I hadn't thought of. The reason we said church is because if you don't want an 18-wheeler creeping down Main, all of a sudden it's like, oh, get to Elm Street and realize they got a street closure. They can't make that turn.
I'll figure the guys out, we'll make it work, but the other thing that I have spoken with some of the retail folks, they really don't want it at 5, maybe push it back a little bit.
5:30?
5:30, 6 o'clock, something like that.
Why don't we go 6 to 10? Why don't we go 6 to 10?
That's what I'm, or either maybe 5:30 to 10.
5:30 to 10. How about that?
The merchant, some of the merchants downtown just expressed, they don't wanna say that they're opposed to it, they just, the parking and all. make
I understand,
sure
I understand.
they can get out before
No, we.
we shut
Yeah,
it.
but, they also need to look at it too, if you got that many people coming to eat in the street, they're gonna wanna look at some of them
They may
shops.
wanna be open.
So, they might wanna look at extending their hours. I mean, I'm fine with 5:30 to 10, that's fine with me, but I would reach back out to them. You got all those people there, they're gonna eat, get up, and walk back to their car, it's over.
Possible. It's possible.
what about logistics when it comes to cars that are already parked on Main at 5 o'clock and they're there for the evening? I mean, do they just stay there and we work around them?
We'll have to work around. I mean, let's face it, folks. It's not going to be perfect, but this pandemic is terrible.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, there's going to be imperfections. There's going to be someone that's going to get upset about something. But I think if we work with the retailers downtown and the restaurants, I think a lot of people in area counties are going to be like, way to go. I mean, I heard nothing but positive reaction on Facebook. I had one person concerned about trucks going down Lunenburg, and I explained to them the reason we picked 5:30 is trucks are not rolling lumber through town at 5:30. They're done. Not as much. Well, I hope not either. And if they want to come down Brunswick, it's fine. I'll be honest with you. We got merchants on their knees right now. They're crippled. We're trying to help them. So if it means a truck has to go by my house with lumber, I'm willing to send them on by my house.
Well, there's no reason for them to, being that they
There's not.
go on
Go down
Brown
Main
Street,
Street.
Main Street, or Church Street, Main Street,
They
so,
go up and down College every day.
all the time.
Right.
There may be somebody don't know the area, and if it happened, then hey, so be it, you know?
I'd love for someone on council to make a motion.
You're gonna have turn signs at Church Street, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
I would love someone on council to make a motion authorizing the town manager and police chief to get this thing started next Thursday, 1 week from tomorrow, which would be June the 4th, and try it June 4th through 6th. And if that's a success, then by golly, we're going to, we'll call it something, Blackstone Restaurant Appreciation.
Let's do it. I make a motion.
Mr. Miller has moved. Ms. Jones, you want a second?
Yes.
Any further discussion? I'll ask for a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I can't vote. All opposed? The motion carries 5-0. Thank y'all. Yes, Field Green.
Are you gonna go from church all the way to Dinwiddie or to Tavern?
We're planning on,
You gotta do it to Dinwiddie because the
Yeah.
trucks can't make that.
we got to get the trucks or traffic. The detour's got to be Brown Street, but like I said, they can all, like if someone wants to go to Mexican that night in the street, they can pull up right here and park beside BB&T. These side streets will remain open.
I was about to say, so you can still cross
Yes.
Main Street.
Yes,
I wanna help promote it, so I wanna make sure I get it right.
absolutely, absolutely.
You're gonna
No.
still have people
No,
crossing
you
Main
can't
Street?
cross Main Street.
Yes.
You gotta block all the side streets off, because somebody will turn on the main street and
Sure.
drive right down it.
Not if you've got Main Street blocked off here.
Yes, they will.
There's gonna be, that would be impossible for the restaurants to have parking if you don't have cross.
Right.
Cross, where you gonna turn? You gonna pull up on Elm Street?
People aren't gonna park over here and walk.
You turn in the middle of the street, it ain't gonna work.
But you are gonna have to barricade every intersection.
We're gonna require a lot of cones, a lot of signs, and if it means the mayor has to get out there and stand out there like this, he'll do it. He'll do it.
Right behind you, right here.
You gonna figure that out. Chief is good at this kind of stuff.
Parade that we do, Eric, we have to put the things so people don't drive across the street.
Yeah, but that's because you've got a procession coming down here. It's a little, you got a procession during the parade. You got to have ingress and egress east
I
and
think we're
west.
thinking it too hard.
Yeah, let's let the town manager, police chief work this out, and let these restaurant folks order some food and get this thing going.
I'll give it
Thank
to
y'all,
you.
council. What's next on the agenda we can knock out? We want to go to budget?
I think Jennifer would like to go home
All right.
and be with family.
All right? I like that. I like that idea.
We have.
Next, we're going to take on the budget. So, hey, Taylor and Field, if y'all want to come in, just socially distance, I don't have any problem. And y'all are welcome to stay if you wish, but we're pushing it. Thank you, Ken. We're pushing the 10-person rule, so I kind of would like some folks to maybe.
Or maybe not.
And I need to tell Janet Benell, because she said the referendum, we're going to vote on that the third Monday. We discussed the questions, but we're going to vote on the questions to send to the judge on the third Monday. And I'll send you the information Tessie has given the council so you can see it for yourself. But you're welcome to stay. I just want you, didn't want you to stay for no reason. Budget, Mr. Town Manager, we've got to advertise a budget for public hearing on the 15th.
I think we still, after tonight, we'll probably have to do some figuring and ciphering and changing. But the big points in the budget are reductions, so you know. Obviously, we made a recommendation to reduce DBI's budget because they don't have a position filled right now. We have 5 additional positions that we're abandoning at this point. One's a mechanic at the shop. One is a replacement for Brenda Bryant. As you know, Allison was already here, so we just considered her position to go over there. Jessica Meadows' former position, which was the budget billing clerk. A receptionist here in the town hall. Okay. And 1 police officer. Okay. I've heard from everybody. I've heard from folks, I want to keep this, I want to do this. I've heard more adds than I have subtracted. We have included in this, based on what I think is going to go down tonight, we have included a 3% raise for the employees. We have an adjustment to the police department's salary, because that is probably the most important, no offense. That is the most important thing that we need to do. We had recommended not to do it simply because we didn't want to just give some employees a raise and some not. The increase to the police department would take $69,000. How are we paying for any of this? We're recommending just not to buy a garbage truck, just put it off for a while. And it's $150,000 cash. There's a couple other maneuvers that we've done in here.
DBI, fully funded?
Yeah, but you had mentioned it a little while ago with the garbage truck, but that's one-time money. So how do we sustain it? It's great for this year. How do we sustain it for the following?
Well, you're going to have 2 years of collecting extra money on the garbage. This budget does include the $2 raise on the garbage fees. So you'll pocket that for a year and not buy a truck.
Well, we'll order a truck, but it won't be delivered. I think it'll be 8 or 9 months before it's delivered. So we won't have a payment on it, I don't think. Even if we do this fiscal year, I'll be still surprised if we have a payment.
What are lease options on a garbage truck? I mean,
Typically, we've been going to USDA because they give you a $25,000 grant. And then they'll come back on like on a 5 or 7 year. And we just paid one off a couple days ago. And they give you $25,000 grant. The difference is loan. And I would say that's going to be in the 2.3% for 5 years. But they still have to price it and they have to wait for all those kind of things. But we're trying to get out of the business of borrowing money for depreciated items. But if we're going to fund DBI, we're going to fund police department salaries, we're going to fund salaries for the rest of the guys, then it's got to come from somewhere. So we're going to have to go back into the borrowing pool.
Let me ask you this, when the average citizen, I know some members of council as well, but everybody here is we're going to stay short a police officer. What I'm looking on this sheet that the citizens don't have, I like, because I see a starting police officer starting in Blackstone at 45,000, which
We're
is,
trying to make it comparable to the county.
which is more than the county.
I don't know if it's more.
They're
than
40,
the county.
they're 44.
Chief, one notation to me was that, he actually,
Yeah, we got better insurance than the county does.
additionally.
I think, don't we, Lonnie? Don't we have better insurance than the,
You did.
we
Oh,
did?
there it is, right there. The 1 year is $400 more, with 1 year's experience, it's 1 year more than the, or $403 more than what a county officer
What does
pays.
Chief say about the elimination of the position?
He doesn't like it, but you gotta give something up, somebody's gotta give something.
I don't like that either because,
Then you gotta cut something,
well, I'll go ahead and say it in open, you got some that already applied in other places.
Sure.
So if they get fast C, it's gonna be a problem.
They're
as
gonna
far
go
as this
down.
goes. And I don't think cutting the position is gonna help this at all.
It's not
The
full
problem
round.
the problem you're having is you're losing a lot of experience in law enforcement from this town. You got maybe a little less than half the department that has any genuine experience.
Keenly important, yeah.
So, you know, if we start losing people with experience, places like Fast C or other departments which they have applied for, you're really gonna be hurting. I don't think slicing one of those positions won't help this at all. I think we need to find some other option.
What is, let me just ask you this, because I honestly do not know, I haven't asked. Can this town compete with Fast C? How much greater is this? I imagine being Uncle Sam.
Fast C's great. I mean, the opening salary is awesome. The
What
problem with Fast C, which I don't think some of them have taken into consideration, is, all right, I work for somebody that got to, you know, the bid or whatever for the next 3 years.
It's a contract employee.
You might go somewhere else to a different contract in 3 years, I might not have a job. But, you know, I think some of them are willing to take that
But the
risk,
county's
because
really
they make significantly more money.
Bumped up the salaries for the officers.
They have, I think the deputy sheriffs now are online or slightly advanced than the teachers. Teachers start out at 42 or 43. Deputy sheriffs are on 44, I
It's pretty
believe.
bad, but, I mean, no offense to DVI, but we got people that, an officer will make less starting out currently than what a DVI director would make in Blackstone.
But not on this proposed
Well,
budget.
no, correct,
Right.
that's what I'm saying, currently.
You can do it, you can do all
I'm
of it.
not gonna wear a badge and put a gun on my hip and have to go out there for.
But we are
36.
already, this budget has about $450,000 of cash reduction from reserves.
So we're rating reserve, the county rated their reserves $750,000, we're rating it about $500,000.
Almost half a million.
Well, one can make the argument, because Lonnie does raise a good point, one can make the argument, I mean, I don't want to sound like a
But we're
drunk.
rating it not for these police positions, we're rating it to do things like replace a conveyor controller at the wastewater plant.
One-time thing.
And to offset the one-time true-up from Dominion Power. I'm not using reserve money, it is a kiss of death to use reserve monies or cash on hand to do ongoing salaries.
Yeah, because you can't keep up, it's recurring.
Capital projects
Not
as
to
a group.
mention, something like we wanna do with these restaurants, it's gonna take more than one police. Vacation, and things like that, so, I mean, I appreciate the utopia you're painting, but it's not gonna work that way, and I'm telling you, because I was in it for 20 years. It is not gonna work that way, you're not gonna have the manpower you wanna have.
How about
Supposed to have two on duty at all times.
True, we want to. They went to crew the other night. They went down the. They had a call on Lakeside Drive, some sort of domestic. Guess who got there first? Blackstone.
Well, we said something, you wanna beef up Blackstone, when you have to beef up the police department first. All right, now Blackstone's beefing up, you got Fast C to start, and we have beefed anything up. And now we're gonna hit a critical stage, because if we lose 3 people across the street here, which people have applied in other positions, 2 more get hired and leave, you got 3 down, now you wanna cut another position. It's not gonna be effective, not with the way things are now, not with what you wanna do. So I think we need to.
It's all a
we need to start
competition for
addressing
resources.
handling this now.
But I'll say this, I'll say,
That the budget coming up now, but
as much as I hate tax increases, whatever, but I'll tell you what, people, well, I'm gonna throw one little thing in here to get back to what Lonnie said. I do want to ask this council this. Y'all do me a huge favor. Will this council agree that every penny this town gets from the gambling tax, which is gonna be $1,200, it's gonna be $120 a month per gambling machine at these.
You're not gonna get them, they're shutting down.
No, they're not. I talked to Ryan. Ryan's gonna have 10 machines at Players Vape. Would we please set that aside for tourism and or law enforcement? It's gonna be at least, $1,200 a month.
$1,200 a month.
$1,200 a month.
That's 1,200.
Yes, it's a 12% tax.
Right.
The locality gets 12% of the $1,200 per machine.
That's just 1 year there.
Right.
You're illegal next year.
I thought you have to have something.
Oh, they pay that $1,200
Well,
every month.
What would a penny on real estate do if we told the people, look, it's going strictly to law enforcement?
$16,000 per penny.
1 penny on real estate is 16?
About 17, 16 and change. We went from 20 to 22 and it was about 39,000.
No doubt, you got clean water, you got fire, police, and clean water. And sanitation, the most important things this council does. There's no doubt about it.
Like I said, it can be balanced, we can do it. But what we've got, it shows 5 positions being left open. If it's just 4, then we gotta scratch something and figure something else
I
out.
appreciate all your hard work, but that's not something, I don't wanna lay my head down and like knowing when that's officially covered.
Mr. Miller,
Did we keep the, housing in?
Weatherization, that is still in the project. And remember, that's paid out of the electric fund,
it's 50 grand.
50 grand. It's paid out of the electric department, not out of the general fund. You got money in electric, you got money in water and sewer. Your general fund
All right.
stinking it up. And sadly, the police and fire don't necessarily bring revenues. We all know that, it's the nature of the beast. They're a cost center, not a profit center. Whereas electric, you're bringing in enough certainly to cover your cost. And then some. We're actually transferring about $400,000 this year from the electric department into the general fund just to do what we're doing. And that's way more than it's been. When I started here, it was $725,000 a year, and I don't think it was making $725,000. I think that was just an arbitrary figure that allowed the balancing of the budget.
Right.
Last year, I think we were maybe $100,000, and I think we're up to $400,000 this year. Part of it's because your revenues are going to be down. But I didn't draconian crush them because that would just be more depth and more cuts that need to be made. But we do need to look on a quarterly basis our meals tax, which is a big boy. That's a big show for us. And right now we're down about $15,000 a month on meals tax. We usually collect about, I'll tell you, from March, April, and May, 2019 versus 2020, March, April, and May, and remember that's for sales in February, March, and April, okay? Last year, 2019, we collected $166,000. This year, $120,000. So over the course of 3 months, but I think it's deeper because February wasn't as deep of a cut. So I think
Right.
most of the cut came in March and April. So you're looking at about, on average, $15,000 a month, but I think it'll be higher if you use full closed months. We're banking on everybody being back by the 1st of July. Okay? We're banking on that.
What you need to consider is it is highly expected that this virus is coming back in the fall with the flu. So we're gonna hit the same thing again with the pandemic, so it's gonna put
But
everybody.
if I reduce those revenues more, it's going to be a problem.
Well, I personally, and I love the idea when Philip created the weatherization fund, but in the times that we're in, I mean, we've got to stick to the vital core functions, and, I mean, I personally don't even like the garbage increase. If we're not buying a garbage truck, don't increase the garbage. I mean,
Yeah, but we know we're gonna have to, and the one thing I can say,
I don't believe that, because I think we can lease a truck and it'd be cheaper overall, when we're only keeping them 5 years anyway.
if you wanna lease them, that's a
And
good
then they're
discussion.
cheaper.
The payments aren't any less than what you know.
Have we checked?
Well, I can be very frank with you, the lease is still gonna be a 7-year or 5-year lease.
Yeah.
You're still gonna pay the value of the truck. If you can get a $25,000 grant, I'm buying the damn car.
Sure, I mean-
A whole lot better.
But I'd rather you can advertise with a proposed fees, and you can lower after the council meeting. If you reduce the advertisement and you decide to go higher, you have to have another advertisement, another hearing. So
We are gonna have to lease or buy another truck. We're gonna have to do that.
Eventually.
I'm begging on, we wait until August or September to place an order, and then maybe it'll be here
July.
in June, and our next payment's in July.
Mr. Miller,
You know, like, okay, there's a whole bunch of money out here that's tied up in late. You understand what I'm saying? People haven't paid.
$1 million or more, yeah.
So, we're coming up with a plan, right?
We have a full-time treasurer whose full-time job is collections. And
Right, but what I'm saying is that money goes to the electrical fund too, right?
it goes back, well, the portion that's electric, will go back to electric, water, and sewer, back
So
to
then,
water.
well, that shouldn't hurt weatherization.
Well, hopefully we'll collect it.
it, it,
If it's that weatherization money can be used for something else temporarily until we get out of this, and then maybe reestablish it at a later date.
Right.
Talking about vital function.
It's not that we're not helping, I mean, we just applied for a huge grant for East End, so we're still helping in housing.
Oh, no doubt. I think what the main, Mr. Miller, you're spot on about the electrical funds being there, but I'm gonna give Mr. Van Norbeck credit. There was a time when I first got elected where, yeah, I mean, we were sucking money out of electrical fund to pay all the bills, and sometimes the bills weren't even getting paid. And he fears that number going into reserve is getting higher and higher and being unsustainable. So I commend the town manager on that. I think everybody here wants DBI. I do think based on what we've heard, and I'll be honest with you, I told some of the DBI folks I want to increase DBI. I don't think that's a viable argument, and especially when Mr. Morgan, who's worn the badge, and he knows the police officers, and he's talking about, being one officer short might expedite the departure of those who are already overworked, even though they do get overtime is nice, but you're a human being. There's only so much time you can be away from family. Maybe that $50,000 is, no one can say that the town of Blackstone has not been progressive on improving residents' lives and doing things in Burkeville 15 years ago. They don't do that. I mean, they don't, because they don't have the money. The problem Blackstone's got is that we get revenue, and so we want to spend the revenue. Yes, Mr. Miller.
Okay, if you cut it down, then I think we should be able to take another look at this around December and see what we can do about it.
I think that the finance director and the town manager are going to be having to give us a report every month on how we stand with cash flow, what's in the checking account, what's delinquent on the, we know June 15th, there are going to be more cutoffs than they're going to be cutoffs. And it's going to be painful.
I see, we look at the budget adjustments, years ago we cut it out, and I hate to bring up a sore subject, but dispatcher salaries is being adjusted again, just because of a 3% increase.
For one employee.
Correct. Do we have a job description for what these employees do?
But we don't dispatch here. We don't
Is it
dispatch.
fluff that we have that could be allocated to the weather station, to somewhere else?
For the cop.
Correct. These two same employees, and nothing against them personally, but have been placed elsewhere and they washed up and had to be placed back over there.
But we don't dispatch here in Blackstone anymore, do we?
But that's their title name.
It's called dispatchers because that's what it's still in the budget.
It's an admin person.
Yeah, I do believe chief calls them receptionists.
Okay.
But like I said,
But I don't think they declared essential
correct.
employee.
Are they folks?
If it comes to,
Are they essential?
Do I think they're essential?
I said, are they classified as essential?
I wouldn't think so.
Well, I hope everybody the taxpayers pay is essential to some degree. I mean,
That's why it needs to be brought up, and again, it's nothing personal
when there
against
was
it.
dispatch over there, yes, and, I fought hard to keep them, because I don't, if I worked for the town for 25 years, the last thing I want is you coming to me and say, all right, well, they don't have the dispatch anymore, you got to go somewhere else. I just dedicated all that time here, and you basically slapped me in the face, I'm gonna go out and go somewhere else to.
Private sector all the
But in defense, we did give both of them jobs. Both of them had where positions were open, and we didn't make them apply. We gave those jobs, one at the bus shop, one at the treasurer's office, and I don't think they liked it, and
And I just want to say, in that dollar figure, that is 3 positions. That's chief's administrative assistant and then the 2.
But the 3% was only applicable, or any raise would only be applicable.
So it's not the full $96,000, you're talking probably $65,000.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
but just to be clear, under this latest proposed budget, town employees across the board would get 3% raises. Police department police officers would get a little bit more.
We wouldn't give we're not proposing to do the 3% for the cops. We're proposing to give them an $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 bump.
By position, and
So that would save a little bit of money for those guys, but their net will be far in excess of 3%.
but the chief would not be included because we had we got him up to a number. He wanted to get to $70,000.
Raise them up to 70-something. Yeah.
Right, so he wouldn't be included in those bumps. But we've got some, like I said, you got investigator, you got sergeants that have been here almost 20 years. Matthias came here in 2003, I think.
I just want to
2000.
point out, the budget adjustments in your packet, that was including 3%. I think we had received this at the 9th hour, this recommendation. That's
Yeah.
why you had these PD salaries under separate cover, but we have taken into account the difference.
What is the status of DBA right
There's, how's it coming with the search for a director, Taylor?
But if we don't know whether we're getting any funding, it's hard to look for positions.
But it looks like tonight you're gonna get the funding that you've currently had.
Right, so that's why we put it on pause till we were sure.
And I will say that we, over the last few months, we've not taken any money from the town. If we did not have somebody on July first, we would continue that agreement. But it is our intent to have someone by July first. So we've certainly been fiscally responsible, I believe.
What is that per month that DBI normally gets that they have basically,
3,300 and
3250.
so that's about 10 grand y'all have not received?
Correct.
Well, we appreciate that. That's, not many agencies do that. If it's in the budget, most agencies grab it.
Right.
So that's mighty good stewards y'all have been. We don't need to beat this to death, folks, but you do need to decide to advertise something for hearing, for public hearing on June 15th. But I'd advise you to save money to advertise high. You know, I'd keep the $2 increase in the garbage. You can always, like you did last year. You advertised 3 and you only raised it 1. But once you decide to raise it higher, you got to have another hearing, and you run up against that July 1st timetable.
So there's a lot of stuff in this changing. What exactly are each council members, what are your wishes? I mean, is there any need for us to change anything that's different from what she presented to us tonight?
I just wish you keep the government this, that's what I'm
Lonnie, obviously, but position, I mean, you do figure PD
I don't
salaries.
think, if it's gonna mean the difference between losing a police officer, I think we should abandon temporarily the weatherization if it's something that can benefit the police department. That is an absolute mandatory, you have to have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And I think we have gone above and beyond with the way Philip has done things over the years, helping as many as we could. If we have to suspend it temporarily, I don't see how that should be.
I mean, you could even, I'd like to see between now and the next meeting, a job description for the 2 office ladies, I guess, admin. I mean, that's $65,000 that could be used for the police officer, and we could do weatherization.
And really,
I mean, now, everybody hates cutting,
right.
but when it comes to sacrificing our safety for getting more officers to help keep them here, because I hate to see everybody just leave.
Could we also agree?
There's another thing too, there's probably a few more positions that if we studied, we probably could abolish them.
Well, let's don't go too crazy tonight. One thing also that's not in this budget, I don't think, you tell me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm not trying to say that the magic money's gonna fall out of the sky, but I've talked to the Players Vape. They're gonna keep at least 10 machines for another year. We got a chance to make 12, 15,000. I'm willing to ask y'all and bite my tongue and put tourism to help the police department, take that money and throw it all at the PD. Any dime we get from the gambling goes to law enforcement.
I don't want it, I like the idea, but that's one-time money, so I hate to throw it as an apple to the police department, and then next year we don't get that money and we gotta take it away.
Tom Williams has said it best. They say that they're gonna go out of business next year. They got another year to get it right. They're gonna tax those things. They're gonna be around forever. Because
But we don't
Virginia,
know.
But you don't know that.
I don't know that, but I know for 12 months I know
They
it.
tell you they're gonna keep it, and 2 months later, jerk everything out of you.
I'd rather give that to tourism,
All right?
and then us actually tackle the real issues that, do we
Okay.
have extra salaries that shouldn't be paid?
That's fine. That's fine. I'm gonna recognize Janet Bennell.
And I might be misunderstanding this, and I'm having trouble reading my own handwriting from my notes, but as I understand, are we cutting jobs to fund raises and a weatherization program?
There are 5 positions that we're not filling, and there's really no shocker there.
They're vacant.
Right, and we had, some of them we had not planned on filling anyway.
Okay.
To achieve savings. For example, Brenda Bryant, we have discussed for more than 2 months that we would not fill that position. That would
We're
be,
shifting people around.
yes, that would be Allison Payne would take on that. And Jessica Meadows left.
We're not laying anybody off.
Jessica Meadows left, but the budget billing program, drum roll please, has got about 25 people in it. And we've had several people apply, but they don't qualify. They can't maintain, and then when they look at the terms of the plan, they're like, whoa, I don't want to pay you more than I have to 1 month. I want to pay you what I owe, which is what,
We tried, that's what
We
we
tried.
put under our hat, is we
All right.
tried to help, so.
so, yes.
Was garbage the collection rates tiered in any way in this plan at all?
I think we're waiting on I think we intend on doing it, but the end result is the net needs to be the same.
You'll never find enough, I mean, we can tier it, but as Tom has proven.
I did some math on that, and the problem is, I mean, if we,
It's not gonna
Right now-
change the budget number.
It's revenue neutral. It's a revenue neutral.
Intended to be revenue neutral.
but all we'd be doing is the in-town, low users, we're talking commercial, not residential, would go from $30 to $26. The high users would go from $30 to $45, and then if they're getting picked up a lot more times, like the McDonald's, they'd pay an additional $35 for the additional pickups.
Per month or per trip?
It's per pickup.
Oh, another $35 per pickup.
Which is already well below industry standards.
But tell me, what would Pickering, for
We'd
example?
also we'd have to up the state police from 332 to 400.
That's
And
good.
that's just a break even.
How about, so the minimum for the people, and I don't mind saying this, she wouldn't mind, I know Picker's Place, the Kellers had been very vocal about, they don't even use the service. What would their lower rate be? It go to 26? Tom, I like this a lot. And is it revenue neutral for the year? I think you come out ahead.
I think it comes out.
A little bit more, yeah, yeah, $200.
Yeah, it's like $200.
Yeah, but those-
$170. If you give one each to.
So you have three rates, $26 for the low, in town 45, additional pickups $35 a pickup. There'll be a lot of folks using those additional pickups.
And your low is considered one dumpster,
Two pickups.
two pickups,
Yeah.
which is what our standard is supposed to be.
Right.
So right now, for those who don't know, we have one commercial rate, whether you're Walmart, McDonald's, or
Whether you have
Green's Auto.
whether you have 5 dumpsters picked up 5 times a week.
And some people need more because they fill the dumpsters up quicker with boxes and deliveries and all that kind of stuff. And
And
so,
if you don't use a dumpster.
well, you still got to pay for collection. You're still paying the same
I
quality.
don't use garbage in my house.
You're
so
still
that's-
paying $30.
I go to Route 46 about twice a week, and some weeks some weeks on Sunday nights I'll take all my trash just to get it out of my mind. But I've told residents who said I want to opt out. If we try to opt people out, it would be a nightmare administratively. Well, Ms. Smith doesn't want hers, but one day a week, and
Not just administratively, you wouldn't be able to pay for your garbage.
no,
You have a
no,
job.
no.
I got a question.
Yes.
Remember last month when we talked about this thing up in Cold Harbor? That kind of irritates me. Because if I move to the town of Blackstone, you hook my electric up, you're gonna charge me, I'm gonna pay you for water and sewer.
If you get more, yeah, that's right.
If I go to Cold Harbor, only thing you asking me is to pay my light bill.
And
You
water,
got-
and water and sewer. They have water and sewer as well.
Yeah, but the garbage, what I'm saying is, you're not picking it up, but they're utilizing every dumpster around here.
As is everybody else in Nottaway
I
County,
mean,
Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, there are a lot of clever county residents who you take advantage of local businesses. Certainly,
What
certainly.
I'm saying is, if you're telling me that I gotta do this, and these people up here are doing the same thing, the only thing about it, they dump it illegally, really. So, I mean, I think that's something we should look at.
Possibly, or either offer them trash pickup and charge them out of downtown rate.
Maybe a way to pick up some more revenue.
It might be.
I don't know if we'll have the police force to set up that kind of investigation.
It's a lot. They already got a full plate. Members of council, what's your plate? What do you want to advertise for hearing? You don't have to vote. You're not voting on a budget tonight, but it looks like I hear DBI, I hear raises, I hear possible way to help fund and preserve the officer that Mr. Morgan has spoken.
And then weatherization would basically offset that.
Look at it in December, as Mr. Miller said. I think we'll have to look at this budget. The finance committee might be meeting every 6 weeks just to evaluate how we stand.
We're going after 1st of July, yeah, because my revenues are still pretty rosy. And if our revenues are going south, then I need to come to you guys and say, we've seriously got to, some stuff.
But you're,
I think the main things, obviously, we'll probably vote to advertise for this budget adjustment, these right here, to include in this coming year's budget. But from what I'm hearing, we need to decide on weatherization, the extra police position, and then the, whatever we can,
You need to,
dispatcher
so
is
what I really need from you guys is I need you to determine if that 50,000 from electric is going towards a police position or if it's going in weatherization. I need to know that tonight. I also need to know, do you wanna do the 3% for the police department? That's reflective on the budget adjustments, or do you wanna go with what the chief has requested for the salary adjustment?
Well, I think it really depends on if you use weatherization to fund the last police officer position. It depends on if we get rid of fluff, 2 positions.
What if you raise across the board, I mean, not to be anti-public sector, but we are in a pandemic, and I know a lot of folks in the private sector ain't getting no raises. What if you went from 3% to 2% raises, and then did what the chief said for the officers? How much would you save by only going to 2% pay raise?
If I'm not mistaken,
It's about 50, 60,000.
$20,000 difference per percentage.
Right.
So if you did that, then you maybe you could offset minimization, right? Give it 2%.
No, you can't fully fund
it. I don't know if I can or not.
I'm gonna let you do, I'm gonna have one more citizen comment, Mr. Lee, then I'm gonna let council make a motion, yes.
If you're an employee and you get a 2% raise, you may as well just slap them in the face, because that's just an insult. At least do 3%, that shows them you care. 2% is like, we're just gonna use you another year.
Mr. Lee, I'm gonna be honest with you, I respect you immensely, but I'm gonna tell you right now from Main Street, people I talk to, there are people fixing to let people go in Blackstone that are paying the private sector. We got great town employees, and they work hard, but I'm gonna tell you right now, in this economic environment, a 2% pay raise, I got people at the Curry record I'm fighting to keep employed.
And being, it was no fault of the town employees, but they also just worked 2 months at only half the time, and they're still getting paid. We didn't furlough anybody, not down an employee.
Now I'm gonna preach.
Not everybody.
I'll preach.
Okay.
There is an increase in the health insurance, pretty appreciable increase in health insurance this year, so I'm gonna ask you for a 3% raise for the guys. And
Okay.
if
I
you
just
can
threw that out there.
See to it, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
Because a good portion of that's already gonna go to a health insurance increase.
I think it's a good idea being in this condition right now, that I think we should suspend weatherization for right now, until we get back financially comfortably to where we can dedicate to the, because I think a police officer is more important.
It's one that,
Well, we can always bring that back in, like you're saying, we can bring that back in, Nathaniel. You know, when we look at December and say, oh, look, we got extra money that we didn't use, so we can earmark it at that time.
yeah.
I think that's a smart thing to do.
We're renovating homes and rebuilding homes in the East End, and so, but again, not
It's a
to,
model neighborhood there.
listen, I'm not, and I'm proud that we're doing that. But I think doing that and, how about this? Someone make a motion in effect to advertise the manager's proposed budget that includes full funding for DPI, that includes not doing weatherization to keep the extra police officer, that includes 3% pay raises, that includes a salary adjustment for the police department presented by the chief, includes going into reserves to balance by the tune of $400 and some thousand, and get that motion and get that taken care of tonight. To advertise. Just like I said. All right, Mr. Miller has moved, Mr. Morgan has seconded. This is just to advertise. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries 5-0.
And you're keeping the $2 garbage increase?
Keeping the $2 increase, which can be revoked. It can be that.
May change.
Right.
But I would like from the chief, a job description for the 2 positions.
That's fair enough. I think accountability. Everybody wants that, including the employees. So that's fine.
I just don't think the citizens should have to pay for something that we don't see any benefits from. If we do see it, I'd like to know what it is.
All we have left on our agenda tonight is we got a municipal software update that we put off at the last meeting. This is trying to get our computers to all talk together and do good things.
I'm gonna ask the lovely finance director, Jennifer Hardy, to handle said request. And she put this together. There were some requests.
Thank y'all.
There were previously had been some requests that the town look into ways to do direct deposit or direct payments and those kinds of things. Right now we take credit card payments. She did the research with BAI initially some time ago, and I think the response was, I'm not sure, I don't think it can be done. But I think Jennifer doing what Jennifer does, she dug in a little more, and I think she's found a way to do it.
All right.
So we're really trying to modernize without doing a full complete shift of accounting software. So Bright has also tried to modernize, and this is their add-on package that a lot of different places do use. The customer can go in, create an account, they can view their bill online, they can pay online by credit card or by check. You
That
can,
was the
yes.
question.
Jennifer Daniel had followed up with me, and so yes, you can pay by check, and there is no fee for that. You'll automatically get emailed your receipt. I know we've heard comments before, citizens, I was out of town, it was after hours, I wanted to pay before the deadline. but I didn't know what my bill amount was. You know, so we get a lot of phone calls,
Oh, I
people just
bet.
calling, what is my bill amount? They can literally just go in, put their last name in, they can pull up, they can see what their utility bill is, they can see what their tax bill is. It can help them calculate their meals tax, because lots of times the restaurant owners will have to call up here and the girls will have to calculate it for them. It'll have a format there.
Is it a login, or can I just put in Wilkinson and see what Tom's bill is owed?
No, there's a login, and I
Okay,
believe you
like
have to put your
last four,
last,
social
yeah.
or something.
So once you go in the first time, you'll set it up, and then you'll have like, just like when I pay my Southside Electric bill online, I have a user login. It recognizes my email, I can go in, of course, if you forget it, it'll reset it.
So the total package is $15,675. The one complaint I get about, and I see it on Facebook all the time, under this system, if Billy and Joyce Colburn decide to pay their light bill by credit card, what's the fee gonna be? Because at one time it was 4% or something.
2.85%, I think, is what it was.
But if you pay that check, or just put in your routing number.
Right, route number, there's no fee.
There's no fee.
No fee.
correct.
Which was the deal breaker, because it sounded like last meeting that you couldn't do check. That's why we held off.
Right.
Now you can take check and
I
it's
think
free.
Jennifer was wrong, yeah.
I think immediately, I think it's a no-brainer. And is this one-time fee, 15,000?
Yes, and they have agreed to break up the payments for us. They just said, tell us what we can do. If we can do quarterly, if we can do semi-annually.
Where'd it come from? Oh, piece of cake. We've been saving money for an upgrade to a computer system. Okay. Jennifer had asked that we take a look at something maybe more friendly than Bright at some point. We saved $10,000 doing that, and the other $5,000 would have to come from discretionary funds from county.
You don't wanna see any increases somewhere in the budget.
Well, I've got 10 of it laying in a.
Right, so like he mentioned, I think a couple years back, I wanted to switch because we just needed to modernize. It's very, it was very archaic, but they're able to adjust. And so Philip, we had worked that into the capital improvement plan, an upgrade to the full system, it was over $100,000. So we started saving, and so we took that out of this budget for my next year's savings towards the plan.
Right.
But like I said, they will break it up semi-annually or quarterly or whatever.
I think it's a no-brainer, to be honest. And people have been harping on us. We hear more that they get charged credit card fee than what it is for budget billing. So if we could offer for $15,000, and we get a lot of other benefits.
Yes, we
it makes
do.
your job easier than anybody else.
And the
If
one
you
other
phone
thing it
call-
can't do, I know we've been asked, is some people wanted like that auto draft, but because people's bills fluctuate so much,
Yeah.
that it will not do that.
It's not gonna do the auto draft.
No, when you set up, you put in your checking account and routing number, that's considered basically an ACH. So it will pull from it, but he has to manually go in and tell it.
And say,
Do
hey,
it each month.
Yeah,
It
it's
can't
not gonna
automatically do it.
It's not gonna
Yeah.
think on its own and pull
Okay.
Billy's bill without Billy saying, yes, you can pay that.
That's probably good, because I tell you now, I can hear the phone calls we're getting. I didn't mean to, I need more time.
Get over Drew about that.
Some people like it, I guess, but I like seeing what my.
Yeah, but the customer has complete control. The only question I have, I like this, I think it's a good idea. There'll be some effort to maybe educate the public, or like,
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
people come in, maybe say, hey, do you want to hear about this program
Well, and also they will see it,
On the
that's gonna be
bills.
their bill pay.
on the bill?
they keep
Website
people from
now.
coming down here and.
Amen. Facebooking people, I love it.
Like Lonnie said, when would it be active? How soon could it be?
July 1st?
I was trying to do a July 1st rollout, but there's some, IT things I need to work out because it's actually gonna be like housed on a server here. I gotta get Code Blue in on that to tell me what we have to do, because we want it secure,
Yeah.
essentially people will be getting in, but they need to be
You're gonna have all
blocked.
that
Yeah,
bank,
yeah, there's a lot
I
of,
just, like Lonnie says, we're gonna see a spike come fall, winter. So this will help reduce contacts over on the staff side.
I believe, I spoke to Code Blue, I needed to get the okay on this side of it, but Code Blue is very fast, so they already know what I need, they've talked to Bright, it's just a matter of pulling the trigger, and then I'm sure I can have it up and going within 30 days.
Code Blue's by the way, a contractor, an IT contractor that helped us when the police department was hacked. And that's how we got to know them, and they've done some stuff for us over here.
Need a motion, we'll have to have a roll call. Who would like to, Mr. Morgan was moved to approve this purchase?
Second.
Ms. Hasbrook is seconded. I'll go with a roll call vote, starting with Mr. Morgan,
Me,
Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Aye.
5-0.
Thank you.
Y'all did very well. It's like a quartet.
Billy, you need, it's 6-0 this season.
It's 6-0, I'm sorry. It's 6-0. Sheila, I'm sorry. I had 5 in my mind. All right, we have, next on our agenda, we have Delphine Simmons Folks is proposing a graduation parade for Saturday, June 13th. Do we know what time that is?
11?
Where they would gather at the school/ballpark, come down Main Street to Mitchell's. It would be for those seniors from Nottaway High School that wish to participate. They're going to have their graduation the 2 prior days by appointment, and she thought it would be a great idea. I think it's a great idea for it's great to celebrate if we can coordinate with the police chief and.
Absolutely.
All right.
Fire department, I told her I would get with them to see if they can lead it all.
Just need a motion.
Make a motion that approve this.
All right, moved by Ms. Hasbrook, seconded by Mr. Miller
It's the 13th of June.
at 11 a.m. And that's the perfect time for parade. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. She had also asked, Delphine Simmons Folks had also asked, actually I believe Sheila, you made this request about the graduation banner.
I did.
You'd like to tell us, this is just to buy a banner.
I was just thinking about hanging what we normally hang it at, like when we do the,
Truck pull and stuff, like over
yes,
by
yes,
the post
yes,
office.
yes, right near the post office.
We normally don't pay for those banners, but we waive the banner installation fee. But I think if there was ever a banner that the people of Blackstone wouldn't mind paying for, this would be that.
Graduation, man.
They've been through so much. Let's hear it. Who would like to make that motion?
Is it gonna be strictly towards one, or is it just gonna say congratulations 2020 graduates?
It should just say congratulations, class of 2020.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be
Mr. Nash is thinking about saving money in case we have a pandemic next year. Is what he's thinking.
No, I'm thinking you don't want
You're gonna
say if you, yeah.
No, no, I had
say only
already-
Nottaway, not Anson.
Oh.
What about the graduates of college?
True. Congratulations,
2020, I think that's
To
it.
all
To all
graduates
graduates.
2020.
Whether it be, Nottaway,
Kinston
Kinston.
or whoever, everybody, yeah.
All right. Then I need a motion to that effect.
Motion.
I made one.
Mr. Morgan moved and Mr. Miller seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And the last request we have, I was contacted by the daughter of the late Constance Wynn, and they're talking about doing something. Tomorrow's the 1-year anniversary of the tragedy that shook everybody at Shiloh, and she was talking about a parade. She wanted to have it start at West Entrance Road around 5 o'clock. I told her, I said, look, we'll try to accommodate anything you want. But 5 o'clock at that intersection is really crazy because the picket folks getting out. And I thought maybe it might be better to, of course I would defer to the police chief, but have it shorter, maybe start around the park, somewhere up in there. She wants to go down Main Street and come and go to the church.
I'll be honest with you, I think Tony's already got it worked out with it.
Does he?
I
We
think-
just need to ratify it?
I think the chief and
I don't think they're asking for street closures. I think they're just asking for
like
just
a
a
funeral.
Escort, police escort.
like a few.
Let it, we don't need to vote on it, just let it be. And
We defer to the police
Thinking about it.
So they're doing this tomorrow?
tomorrow.
Okay.
Do we know what time it starts?
I don't, but I do know the chief, when I called him about it and forwarded your email to him, or Loyette email
Yeah.
originally, he said, oh yeah, Tony's already been assigned to it.
Okay.
Gather at 5 p.m. and the church service at 6.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Tony has done a lot of stuff because Tony's coordinated birthday parades. I've bugged him a lot in the last couple of weeks, and I appreciate that. Anything else for the good of the cause before we meet on the third Monday?
We will, just be calling a couple committee meetings, I think. I don't know if we need to go to finance committee, I think we did the heavy lifting tonight, and I guess where we need to go. A couple personnel matter things that will, probably need to be taken up as far as returning to work after COVID-19. What are the requirements? Tessie doesn't have that prepared for me tonight, so, on the 15th, I'll be prepared to, provide to you. But I really do need to, codify what is and what isn't. We've been very kind to, as Eric mentioned, we've been kind to a lot of employees, let them not work full-time and all that sort of
We've
thing.
done the same thing in our place just to reduce spread. I mean, it's
So we, but nonetheless, we're gonna have a couple personnel things that I think that, just policy stuff, nothing closed session type, but we need to codify. And,
Mr. Morgan had a question.
I would like to tell y'all thank you for the hard work for the budget. I know it's a hard thing to do, particularly hard this year.
You can tell me thank you, but she does all the hard work. We can sit down and talk about it, and then she punches it in and feeds it down. So she's spectacular. And
We've got a good workforce and we've got a lean workforce. We don't have any fat And at one time, there were like, I remember when I first got, there was like 80 Christmas cards I sent out, 85 Christmas cards.
We're down 4 this year.
And that was before that was when Baz was much smaller. I have one question I want to ask you. When we do meet, I know everybody's got an opinion about this, but I do think when we do meet on the third Monday, I think we still have to go by the 10-person rule, but I think everybody has to have a mask on. But we're not gonna enforce, someone asked me today, said, Billy, is the police department gonna go to a store and ticket somebody? Blackstone Police are not gonna ticket anybody for not wearing a mask.
It's up to the health department. It's up to the health department. The police don't have anything to do with it.
I just want to get that on the record because people have been asking me. I said no. I want to make sure that's right.
The governor made a recommendation, it wasn't.
Right.
There have been some people that have brought up other businesses, maybe a competitor or something that's been open over the past couple of weeks.
Really?
Yeah, and so, there've been some complaints about some establishments that probably weren't supposed to be open, being open. And there's actually a policy that the chief has put out to the officers that we provide documentation, we provide information, we assist, we do not summons and we don't write. Okay? We don't need to make criminals out of people trying to make a living.
Agreed.
Even though the governor, and for some cause, has said it's a bad idea, but the last thing we need to be doing is writing a ticket or summoning some poor woman trying to cut hair.
Amen to that.
We can advise them, and we can respond to the call and tell the callers that we went out and talked to them, but, I've told Chief just new.
And that individual was responsive, they ceased operation.
One did, I'm not sure about the other.
Okay, I didn't know there was.
I think the second one did not, and I think that, they were pretty defiant, and defiant to the officer on the phone, in person, but we don't run.
Desperate times, desperate times.
Man, I don't know, I don't run a business anymore, and.
Thank God for PPP. That's all I got to say. If it wasn't for PPP, there'd be a lot of closed stores, signs on doors. Anyone else for the good of the cause?
Jennifer writes me notes, and keep in mind one thing, we're gonna get our final electric rates. These electric rates were the ones that were estimated, back in January. And they are obligated to provide us with the final electric rates on or around the 1st of June. And last year, I don't know, it was like the
It's
1st
late.
of June or something, so, that may make an effect or an adjustment to the budget, but we'll let you
You
know.
know, really, we should be all right, there's enough water over there above Zion Lake right now to run everything around here before we use it.
So I just have to wait for that
They
before
got
we
the big gates on.
submit the ad.
Gotcha,
That's why
gotcha.
we need
And I will tell you guys, as we go through this, next year, Dominion is going to wail on everybody.
On solar, because of solar, all the mandates the General Assembly's giving
All
them.
the mandates from the General Assembly about cleaning out coal ponds and retiring certain power plants. And the General Assembly is more eco-friendly now than it was probably a year or two ago. And they have given the green light to compensate Dominion Power for those kind of things. You're gonna look at a double-digit increase in electric rate next year.
A lot more than double digit.
At least, it's gonna be if we don't have a true-up, I still think you're looking at a double-digit increase.
Yep.
And that's for mostly environmental compliance issues. The General Assembly.
You say they're eco-friendly, I think they're eco-adamant. They're adamant.
The old coal Atlantas and-
Anything else for the good of the cause? I declare the meeting adjourned at 7:16.